Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're looking at the Civivi Ki-V, K-I-V. So capital K, lowercase I, dash capital V. That's the name of this knife. You guys know I'm always butchering names, so I don't know if that has some kind of meaning I'm completely missing or not, but we got a zoom on this one because this guy is tiny. This was a very cool add-on, which I really appreciate during a trade. I actually wasn't aware of this design until I got it. I thought it was pretty neat. All right, so let's get a tight zoom on this guy. Let me show you all around here. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. All right, it is a front flipper. I'll talk about that in a second. So I don't really use it like a front flipper. But there's our blade. All right, flip her over. All right, let me zoom out just a little here. Give you some specs. So our blade here is 1.5 inches. It is a 9CR18 MOV. Softer, cheaper steel, but works totally fine. No issues with it. Close is 2.5 inches. Does have G10 scales and steel liners on here. And this guy is 4 inches overall. And the weight is 1.4 ounces. Made in China, sold by Civivi. So pretty interesting. We have basically a 1.5 inches of straight edge, so this is kind of like a just cooler, modern folding razor, right? It's an interesting little knife. I actually really like it a lot. When using this, I use a pinch grip because this is a slip joint. I should have mentioned that right out of the gate. It is non-locking, technically, all right? So maybe more friendly for certain states and, you know, more importantly, outside the U.S., there's all you guys and girls from countries all around the world that just can't have locking knives for whatever reason. Yeah, it's dumb, but, you know, most of you don't make up the laws. So yes, this is a little slip joint. It's kind of cool. All right, you can see the stop that's there. Let me zoom back in. Now, if I'm quiet, you can hear this. There's detent and bearing that keeps it in. All right, it's nice and firm, and then open. So it's kind of locking in position, but it's not really a lock. It's setting in position, let's say that. All right, so it does take a little bit of, you know, bumpage, let's say, to get this to come off of that position and pop out. All right, so you have to actually hit my wrist here to get it to start to close there. So if you're cutting something and you accidentally turn around and bump into something, yes, this can close. It can, you know, cut you. You have to be careful with it, but, you know, I always talk about this when you're using, you know, slip joints or any non-locking style knife. When you're cutting things, you're putting pressure against the edge, which is pushing the blade in the open position. So the only time you'd have an issue is, let's say you're cutting like some super thick cardboard or something, and then you go to, like, you don't cut all the way through, you go to pull back, the cardboard might be pinching it and pull it down. That would make it close. Or again, like you go to turn and you hit a wall or, you know, a toolbox or something, who knows what. But the only time these things are going to close on accident is when the back gets pressure, okay, and breaks that free. So just be careful with it, but I don't think it's much of an issue. I really like using a pinch grip on this guy. And even though we have 1.5 inches of blade here, I'm really only using about 1/2 inch. So before I even get into the grip, I should talk about the flipping, the action, right? So this is a front flipper. It's not a back flipper. Technically it's front flipper, but I have yet to really just, you know, flip it all the way out and use it that way. I just don't do that. It's not like it's super stiff or anything. You can pinch the blade to open it. But it's just, I don't know, it's not like super smooth. So even though when I first got it, I did try that. I made several attempts. What I end up doing when I want to use this, when I take it out of the pocket, is use the thumb to break it open, basically, and start it. And then I'll just push on the side of the blade and just roll my thumb up. So here's the full action again. Comes out of the pocket, thumb goes sideways. Once it's semi-open, the thumb touches the side of the blade, pushes it all the way open, and then I'm into that pinch grip already. All right, to close it, there's obviously tons of things you could do. To be safe, you should keep your fingers out of that channel, all right, and then, you know, kind of close it. You don't have to necessarily do that. Even when I'm closing it, I'll push forward a little bit because you have a little run here that's not sharpened underneath where the ricasso is. So if you're choking up on it, you can, this is generally just what I do, not thinking much about it. I'll push forward on the thumb just enough to pop it loose, the detent. All right, and then I'll change grips and, you know, bring it down with the thumb. So thumb brings it open, got the pinch grip, I do my cut, which is usually using about that much of the blade, just towards the tip there. So pinch grip, I'm ripping open boxes, doing whatever, and then you know, push it off center and close it with the thumb. All right, this is the perfect little fifth pocket knife in your jeans. Now, I haven't worn denim in a while, so I haven't had a fifth pocket. I wear cargo pants most of the time, or cargo shorts. But that's really where I see this thing shining, is just being a backup to a backup. It has a teeny tiny thin little toothpick deep conceal clip on it that actually works very well. It's smooth G10 scales underneath there. So in clipping the pockets, actually, it's not super tight, but it's tight enough where I do have to kind of, you know, do this thing where I'm putting it in the pocket when I clip to it, because, you know, my pocket seam is a little bit thick for this tightness, let's just say. So it's like some knives you can just push through, and when you push it into the pocket, it overrides. You know, the material just gets under there. And other knives, if you push, nothing happens. It just kind of binds up and it never actually slips underneath. So sometimes with knives like that, I'll do this. I'll use my fingernail, the tip of my fingernail, and as I go to put it in, I just give it ever so slightly lifted, and then the material starts, and then, you know, I push it down. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's teeny tiny, little tiny guy, no lock, simple though, works nice, zip open boxes, and you are good to go. So that is the Ki-V, or Ki-V from Civivi. Interesting knife. So if you guys like your, you know, little slip joints, might be one you might want to check out. If you have this knife, let me know down in the comment section what you think of yours. So that's all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with another video on something else. So see you tomorrow.